it's always a possibility when you go out looking for a certain guitar that you won't find the one you're after, but you'll find something else completely. And that was the case at ATB the other day. If you haven't seen episode 1 of my pre-CBS Strat search, then I think it's probably better to go and start there so you know what's about. Well, you know what I'm talking about, and you don't ruin the journey. I'll give you a second so you can follow the link up there. Right, okay, for everyone else, I know a lot of comments have been about actually the amazing Les Paul Junior, the 56 Junior that I found, that I told you I'm going to have to take that back if I want to take the blue Refin back and get a pre-CBS Strat. Well, I did go back to ATB a few days ago, and I did take the blue Refin, which I'll talk about in a minute, and I took the 56 Junior with me. I got there, and I had lots of your words in my ears: beg, borrow, steal, work harder, keep that 56 Junior. You will not find another one so cool and different and interesting and whatnot, and cheaper because it had some headstock damage. And I went in to ATB, and ultimately I looked in the back of the car at both cases, and I made a split-second decision, and I didn't take the Junior back in to the shop. I worked out a way. I did have to borrow a little bit of money to keep this, and it's 100% worth it. I bloody love this guitar. I didn't expect to find it. It's a beautiful, historic looking and feeling and great sounding instrument. That's the most important bit. This pickup is just awesome. So you saw me wiping down the guitar at the end with my hand. It's because I actually cut my index finger pretty badly when I was changing the strings on it. And I ended up getting blood all over the fretboard there and inside the little gold, well, sort of like gold coloured markers. So I've gone and wiped those off. I don't want it to dry in there. But yeah, it hampered my playing quite a lot. It was quite painful. But yeah, I so enjoy playing that guitar. It ended up being a no-brainer. Even if I didn't end up with a pre-CBS Strat, I was keen to keep this one. It's another reason why shopping in person makes a lot of sense. You go for a dream guitar of yours and you could find something that you weren't thinking of but just sounds fantastic as an instrument and is a lucky find. But okay, let's get back to the main thing here, the pre-CBS Strat. There's been a lot of discussion in comments and things about all sorts of things. For example, people said if it didn't grab you straight away, then you should just walk away. That would be a thing that I would say and think as well, but I've had some experience here where that's not quite what happened, and the reason is I'm very much someone who needs some oomph and loudness and dynamics to feel what the guitar is going to give me. You know, everything I play is sort of on the edge of breakup or a bit more, and if I can't get that, then it's difficult. So when I brought the blue Refin back the other day, that I'd only played in the shop at the same volumes as all the other guitars, I thought to myself, okay, so these pickups maybe have a little bit more, I don't know what the right word is, suppleness at low volume. Okay, I've got to jump in here because I keep forgetting to mention that the blue refinish had a rewound pickup. Now again, that must have been for the sake of the guitar, maybe the pickup didn't work, or, you know, it just needed doing. But as my, you know, I'm going to have one Pre-CBS Strat, I just want it to be original, essentially. So again, another reason why the blue Refin was half the price, and that's great for a lot of reasons, but I had the desire and the ability to get one that didn't have that rewind and didn't have a refinish, and that's just as honest as I can be. But I took some of my other guitars that I love playing and I put the volume down on the amp and I played them, and they were similar to the 63 Strats in the sense that they weren't showing a lot at those volumes, but when I turned them back up to my normal volume, they were just much, much better. And the first thing is that 63 and 64 Strats clearly are quite different. The blue Refin, the 64, had a much thinner neck. Overall, it just felt slightly more modern, unless the 63s feel a little bit of an older guitar, more than 1 year old. I feel like, you know, in the Fender factory, there were constant tweaks and differences being made. And the 64s reminded me of like much more modern guitars that I've played. A C-shaped neck, really just very comfortable, but not like a real magical event to play for me. The pickups, it all sounded a little bit more scooped than the 63, so it had that slightly more identifiable Stratty tone in the 64. And we discovered in the second video that going through up to the 71 got strattier and strattier, which a lot of you said the 71 is the one you'd go for. And I think that makes a lot of sense. Personally, I'm not after that stratty tone as much as some people, which is why I like the 50s Strats and why I like early Telecasters. I do like a bit more of a direct sound with a little bit less scooping in there. So that might explain some of why the 64 wasn't quite right for me, even though it's a lovely guitar. And the fact that it was a Refin, I ultimately realised that if I get a Refin, I'm still going to be thinking about getting a non-Refin for a long time. And I want, as I said, I want a full stop here for a little while to just enjoy what I've got. And in order to do that, I needed to fulfill this dream. So I went back to the shop and I'd been thinking for a few days. And I don't have any footage here. I decided I needed to do this alone. So I weighed up so many different things. I weighed up all of your opinions, and I like to do that. I weighed them up and then I sort of pushed them to the side because everyone will do what they're going to do. And I thought, what is it that I want, right? I've got killer guitars in terms of playing. Guitars that I just adore playing and love the sound of. My Gold SG, my two Masterbuilt Strats, my John K Strat, my R9, and amongst others. So did I need the most killing sounding Strat? Well, I'm not saying I don't want it, but in the shop I couldn't tell if this was or this wasn't. But what I knew I wanted ultimately was a piece of artwork. And I don't want that to disappoint anyone. This guitar is going to be played constantly. So I bought this guitar because when I listened to the clips of it a few times back, I realized it had a really rich tone to it. And whilst it might not have the most wild tone, it had depth and richness to it, which I knew I could work with my amps, with pedals. And so to have a Strat in such good condition from 63, now it's not as pristine as maybe I made out the more I look at it. It's got dings in it, but they look sort of cool. What I do like is the separation between the black, the red, and the sort of natural yellowish colour. It's got a really distinctive look to it. I mean, it's quite a primitive looking burst. You know, it's not quite like some of the other bursts that I love. But I want to put my own wear on this. I've been told already by a few people, people I really know their stuff, that it's going to be difficult for me to put my own wear into it if I'm not taking it on the road. So all I'll have to do is play it as much as I possibly can. I've actually been leaning it up against my desk and things. I don't see, unless I get into a desperate situation where I have to sell it for the money, or unless the price is triple and for some reason I see it worth selling it, this guitar is mine. I've even named it after my wife. And those 3 days between going to the shop, bringing back the blue Refin, and going back, I was nervous and I was anxious, and it was because 10 seconds after leaving ATB, I knew I'd made the wrong decision. But I couldn't go back just then. I had to head on to London for a meeting, and I thought I actually need a couple of days here to think. And 48 hours later I called them and I said, look, can I bring the blue Refin back and the Junior back and take the better condition 63 Strat? If there's one thing I'll say to everyone is ultimately, if you're looking to fulfill a dream, then until you actually fulfill it, it's going to occupy some part of your brain. And although the Refin was a great sounding guitar, it didn't fill that hole that was there for the beautiful 3-tone burst 63 that I can make my own over years and years and years, you know. There's not a lot more I can say right now because I've made the right decision for me. I just want to jump in here and you'll see later in the video, if you get that far, there's a little bit of a rant I go on, and that's actually overshadowed my mood a little bit, and so this video is not as celebratory as it might be. But I just wanted to jump in while I'm watching the editing here and tell you what I actually do love about this guitar, because this is what this video should be about. You know, I've gone and fulfilled a dream of mine, and I feel very lucky about that. And yeah, a few things have overshadowed the last week, not just things to do with this, the thing I'll rant about later. But anyway, what do I love about this guitar? Why did I choose it? Let me nail that down for you. I love the neck on this guitar. It fills my hand without being too massive. So like my new Ron Thorn Strat, the neck is bigger and deeper, and it's much more of a concern whilst you're playing. Not that I don't enjoy it, but it's something that I have to think about. With this 63, it just fits great. And the weird thing is how similar this is to the John K Strat that I spec'd with John. And he obviously did a lot of homework about 63 Strats because that's what I mentioned to him the most. I'll do a comparison video for a bit of fun. You know, it's not really a comparison, is it? But it'd be an interesting thing to do. So I love that about it. I love the look of it. There are many different types of bursts that I love, but a lot of those I feel filled with the couple of Masterbuilts that I've got and the John Case one. For example, I love the sort of chocolate 3-tone bursts more from the 50s, and then with the John Case one, the burst sort of merges together more, whereas this one, quite a blocky burst to it and a very distinctive look that I didn't know I'd love that, but I saw it and I thought, actually, yeah, I really like that. It's got its own look and really feels like it's a 1963 Sunburst Strat. The pickups. Now, this guitar has, I've had to lower the neck pickup as far as it will go because I think this neck pickup is massive sounding, and any closer to the strings, and sometimes it just overwhelmed me. The middle pickup is surprisingly meaty in this guitar. That's not something I usually find, and I might actually spend quite a lot of time in the middle pickup, but it hasn't got as much character as the neck pickup, which is always my favourite position. The bridge pickup here is fine. It's really quite good. On the blue Refin, I think the bridge pickup was a little bit special, but I prefer the neck pickup on this guitar, and I spend 90% of my time in the neck position, so I'll take that. I'm happy enough with the bridge position. It's often a sticking point in any guitar, I find, is the bridge compared to the neck. The guitar is beautiful. I'm very lucky. I don't want you to think I've come away out of this disappointed. I haven't. I'm just feeling a little bit tired by the whole process and other things going on, and so I might come across a little bit jaded. I'm not at all. It's now time for me to not think about new guitars, buying guitars, or anything other than making videos that help you guys choose amps and pedals and guitars, or that further my guitar playing, or help to maybe transfer a little bit of info I've got about how I've got better at the guitar over to you guys. Anyway, back to the video. And the right decision for me was to get a guitar that I know I can make sound good, but also I thought I wanted a guitar that already looked super vibey, like the Junior does. But the more I thought about it, I thought, yeah, it's got a start on it. There's a few dents and dings, but in the places where I want to make wear, I'm going to have to play the crap out of it to make it what it is and give it the personality I want it to have. So if that takes 15 years of playing it a lot, then so be it. Ultimately, this is going to be a sign of how much I play this guitar. So it's going to have pride of place in my room next to some of my other favorite guitars. It's gonna just be what I love about it. It's just going to be in lots of videos, even when I don't make a big deal out of it. People who don't know me or the channel will just see it being played. I might not even mention what it is. It's just a Strat, isn't it? That's got to be quite valuable because of its age and because of the fact that a couple of years later, a corporate entity took over Fender and started changing stuff up. Is it the best Strat that you'll ever hear? Probably not. My master-built 50 style ones are just like incredible, and some of you want a much strattier tone from the late 60s and early 70s. That's fine. This is a 63 Strat. It's a good one, and I hope you enjoy what it sounds like. Let's hear a bit more. So I'm going to end on something that might appear to be a little bit controversial, but I don't intend it to be so. It's just there's been a few comments that have, I'm going to say, upset me a little bit. And there's lots of comments on YouTube that would upset the creator. And I'm not talking about differences of opinion. I'm not talking about someone just being annoying for the sake of it. This is about something really serious, okay? When it comes to commenting on someone's mental health, I want you to take a step back and have a real think before you write something. As much as I'm open to everyone, ultimately, unless you get to know me in person, you don't know me. Telling someone you don't know very well that they should see a counsellor because they have an addiction to buying guitars is not only rude and obnoxious, it's just without knowing any background about someone, it's just a wrong thing to do. So I'm going to say this once, and in future, anyone who says anything like that, well, I've blocked someone from the channel. A couple of people mentioned it, but one guy was just being particularly obnoxious about it. Here's the thing. I've actually had quite a few traumatic events happen in my life. I'm actually living through one at the moment that I don't want to talk about. Buying too many guitars, amps and pedals, I'm sorry if for some of you must have lived a very sheltered life if you think that's, he used the word, this is painful to watch, and he also said this is distressing to see. I'm sorry, mate. Just get a life, will you? That is ridiculous. I am not harming my livelihood, my anything. I'm just enhancing my life here. He said if you're looking at wood and metal and strings to fill a hole in your life, then blah 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 whatever. Well, even if I am, what has it got to do with you? I'm sorry. I'm here to share the fun journey I'm in. And I've had traumatic events in my life. I also have suffered heavily from depression and anxiety. But on top of that, I'm a successful person who has got myself to where I am with the help and support of family and loved ones, which I've been very lucky to have. Buying too many guitars in my life is not a problem. So if it's a problem if you think it's a painful, distressing problem, then you're very, very lucky. But I do not think anyone should be going around on the internet telling someone else to see a counsellor and saying ridiculous, sorry to say, comments. So yeah, I just wanted to get that out there. There are people suffering with real mental health issues, and telling someone you don't know very well things that are very personal or personal attacks, nah, not on. I'm sorry, not trying to be controversial. I'll take a hit in subscribers if I have to say things like that. Just grow up. All right. I'm really sorry to end on that note, but I want to take you all along my journey. I'm loving the community we're building. I'm shocked at how amazing the comments on my channel are. I'm so thankful for that. I'm making friends with people. People are messaging me. We're emailing a lot and DMing on Instagram, and so many positive, interesting things are coming out of this. I don't want it to be ruined for me and for anyone else. But look, my guitar buying journey is up at the moment. I have all the amps and guitars I need at the moment. But even if I wanted to carry on buying more and sharing it with you, I'm sorry if it offends anyone. It's a very bizarre thing to be distressed by. And as I said, if that distresses you, then you're probably led quite a lucky life, I'd have thought. To me, life actually hasn't been that simple. And so there are many other worse things I could be doing with my life, and I've been down those paths too. Anyway, this is a bit of a rant. Let's finish on a nicer note, shall we? I'm giving away this pedal. It's a fantastic pedal, the Duelist by Kingtone. This is the older model, not the newest one. And it's got my pedal tape on the back, sorry. All you have to do is sub and comment. And I'll pick a name out of the hat when I hit 6,000 subs. So go ahead and do that. And thanks for watching.